Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was born on December 1st, 1949, in Rionegro, Colombia. His family was poor. His father was a farmer and his mother was a schoolteacher. From a young age, Pablo hated poverty. He didn't want to live and die as a poor man. Even in his teenage years, he showed ambition, always telling his friends he would be rich and powerful someday. As a teenager, Pablo dropped out of school and started hustling in the streets. He sold stolen tombstones, smuggled cigarettes, and even sold fake lottery tickets. These small crimes were his way of testing how far he could go. He was not satisfied with little money. He wanted more, much more. By the early 1970s, Escobar had moved into larger crimes. He became involved in car theft, kidnapping, and smuggling. At one point, he and his friends kidnapped a wealthy businessman and demanded ransom. When they were paid, Pablo realized crime could make him rich faster than anything else. In the mid-1970s, cocaine was becoming popular in the United States. Escobar saw a golden opportunity. While marijuana had been smuggled before, cocaine was more profitable, easier to hide, and more addictive. Pablo connected with small drug labs and began to build his empire step by step. Together with other smugglers, Escobar created what became the Medellin cartel. This group was more than just a gang. It was a massive organization that controlled cocaine from production to distribution. Escobar's vision was clear: dominate the drug trade worldwide, and he had the ruthlessness to achieve it. Escobar and his cartel found clever ways to move cocaine into the United States. They used planes, boats, and even hidden compartments in cars. At the height of his power, it is said Escobar smuggled 15 tons of cocaine into the US every single day. His operations were so large that he earned the nickname the King of Cocaine. With billions of dollars flowing in, Pablo Escobar became one of the richest men in the world. Forbes magazine even listed him among the world's richest people. He bought luxurious houses, private jets, and entire estates. His most famous property was the Hacienda Nápoles, which included its own zoo, swimming pools, and even dinosaur statues. Escobar's wealth gave him power, but he was not only feared. Many poor people in Medellin saw him as a hero. He built houses, schools, and football fields for the poor. He handed out cash to families who had nothing. To them, Pablo was Robin Hood, even though his money came from drugs and blood. While he helped some, Escobar also showed no mercy to his enemies. He ordered thousands of killings: police officers, judges, politicians, and rival drug lords. His famous phrase was, "Plata o plomo," silver or lead. This meant, take my bribe, silver, or face a bullet, lead. When the Colombian government tried to stop him, Escobar declared war. He ordered bombings, assassinations, and kidnappings. One of the darkest acts was the bombing of Avianca Flight 203 in 1989, which killed 110 people. Escobar did this to kill a presidential candidate who was on the plane. The brutality shocked the entire world. Escobar didn't just want to be rich, he wanted power and respect. In 1982, he was elected as an alternate member of the Colombian Congress. But his time in politics didn't last long. Journalists exposed his criminal past, and he was forced to resign. Still, this showed his ambition went far beyond money. The United States wanted Escobar extradited to face trial. To him, this was worse than death. He swore he would never step foot in an American prison. This fear of extradition fueled much of the violence he unleashed against Colombia. Escobar created private armies of hitmen called sicarios. These young men, often from poor backgrounds, would kill anyone for money. Escobar paid them well, and they became his most loyal force. With thousands of sicarios, Escobar became almost untouchable. By the late 1980s, Escobar controlled 80% of the world's cocaine trade. His cartel earned billions every year. Money was so much that rats ate millions of dollars stored in warehouses. Some estimates say he earned $420 million every week. Despite his bloody empire, Escobar loved his family. His wife, Maria Victoria Henao, and his 2 children lived a life of luxury. Pablo was deeply protective of them, even though his criminal lifestyle constantly put them in danger. The Colombian government, with US support, intensified its war on Escobar. New laws, better trained police forces, and cooperation with the DEA meant Escobar's empire began to weaken. Rivals also wanted him out of the way. A special Colombian police unit, known as the Search Block, was created to hunt Escobar. Trained and supported by the US, they were determined to end his reign of terror. A vigilante group called Los Pepes, people persecuted by Pablo Escobar, also joined the hunt. Made up of his enemies and even former allies, they killed his associates, destroyed his properties, and gave information to authorities. In 1991, Escobar struck a deal with the government. He agreed to surrender in exchange for not being extradited to the US. Incredibly, he was allowed to build his own luxurious prison called La Catedral. It had a soccer field, a bar, and even a waterfall. Even in prison, Escobar continued running his cartel. He invited friends, partied, and ordered murders. His so-called prison was just another base of operations. When the truth about La Catedral became public, the government was embarrassed. They tried to move Escobar to a stricter prison, but he escaped easily in 1992. This marked the beginning of his final days as a fugitive. For the next 16 months, Escobar was on the run. He moved from house to house, safe to safe, relying on his loyal men. But the net was tightening around him. The Search Block, Los Pepes, and the DEA all wanted Escobar dead. His empire was falling apart. Many of his allies were killed or betrayed him. His fortune was shrinking, and his power was no longer the same. Despite his wealth, Escobar became increasingly isolated. He could not see his family freely. His children and wife fled Colombia. For the man who once controlled a country, loneliness became his prison. On December 2nd, 1993, Escobar made a phone call to his son. Authorities traced the call and discovered his hiding place in Medellin. The final chase had begun. Police surrounded the house where Escobar was hiding. He tried to escape across the rooftops, but the search block opened fire. Escobar was shot and killed at the age of 44. His reign ended violently, just as he had lived. When news of Escobar's death spread, some Colombians celebrated while others mourned. To the poor he had helped, he was still a hero. To the government, he was the most dangerous criminal finally defeated. Over 25,000 people attended Escobar's funeral in Medellin. Crowds cried and carried his coffin through the streets. The world was stunned. How could a drug lord inspire such love and loyalty? Even after his death, Escobar's actions left scars on Colombia. The violence, corruption, and fear he created did not disappear overnight. Other cartels rose to take his place, but none reached his level of power. Escobar's billions were never fully recovered. Some was seized, some stolen, and some lost forever. His family struggled for years after his death, living under threats and in exile. Escobar's story fascinated the world. Books, documentaries, and TV shows like Narcos turned him into a legendary figure. For some, he's a warning of greed and violence. For others, he remains a symbol of ambition without limits. Many Colombians still remember Escobar for building houses, giving food, and supporting the poor. To them, he was a savior. But history also remembers the bloodshed and terror he caused. His story is full of contradictions. Escobar's life shows how power and money can corrupt, destroy lives, and even entire nations. He reached the top of the world's criminal empire but paid with his life and his family's peace. Escobar wanted to be rich, powerful, respected, and loved. In trying to get everything, he lost everything. His story is both fascinating and tragic. Decades later, Pablo Escobar remains one of the most famous criminals in history. His name still sparks fear and curiosity. To some, he was a hero, to others, a monster. But one thing is certain: he changed the world of crime forever.